This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. For nearly half a century, the auto industry dreamed of a day when the world would adopt common safety and emission standards because it would eliminate a ton of regulatory costs. It could simplify manufacturing operations in plants that have to ship cars to different global markets, and it would also allow automakers to offer low-volume models in markets where the cost of compliance would otherwise make them money losers. Well, maybe that day is at hand, at least between the US and the EU. Automotive News reports that the latest trade agreement between the two has a sentence that would, quote, provide mutual recognition to each other's standards for automobiles. So, while they would not commonize their standards, they would accept any imported car that met its own country's regulations. And here's our Autoline insight. There's a lot of details to be worked out before this happens, and you can expect a lot of blowback from regulators on both sides. Whenever the idea of commonizing regulations was raised in the past, everyone would agree that it was a good idea. Then the Europeans would say, everyone should adopt our regulations. The Americans would say, no, you should adopt ours. And the Japanese would say, we don't want either of yours. Ours are the best. So, nothing ever got done. But let's hope this time is different. Porsche is scrapping plans to build its own high-performance EV batteries. The automaker created a subsidiary called Cellforce to produce batteries, but the business will now become an independent R&D unit. Porsche is cutting about 200 of the nearly 300 employees at Cellforce. However, Volkswagen's battery subsidiary PowerCo will offer positions to some of the laid-off workers. Porsche is blaming the decision on slower than expected demand for EVs and changing market conditions in the US and China. And the bad news keeps piling up at Nissan. Now comes word that the pension trust fund that Mercedes-Benz runs for its retirees is dumping all the shares that it holds in Nissan, which are worth about $346 million. Those shares go on sale tomorrow, and the Wall Street Journal says that Nissan's stock price will likely start dropping once the trading starts. Looks like Elon Musk won't be bringing Grok to China. According to Tesla's website, it's going to start integrating two competing AI systems into its vehicles in the country. The company will use DeepSeek as a chatbot or voice assistant, similar to Grok, but another called Doubao will also be able to control certain vehicle functions, which Grok currently can't do. It's unclear if they're available right now, but they should be soon and will first be offered in the new long-wheelbase version of the Model Y. Tesla launched Grok in newer US vehicles recently as well, so it's clearly making a push to bring AI into its lineup. But most automakers in China already have AI in their vehicles, so Tesla is actually playing a little bit of catch-up.
At CSP, we work with OEM engineers across the country on their journeys to lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly vehicles. Learn more at thecsp.com.
Renault is following a more traditional path for model updates in India. 4 years ago, it launched a brand new compact crossover called the Kiger that is specifically designed for the market. And now that vehicle is getting its first update. However, other than a new front end, it's a pretty mild refresh. The rest of the body panels, interior, and three-cylinder engine choices are mostly the same. Renault's relatively slow model refresh rate in India could be impacting its sales there. Last month, it only sold 323 Kigers. Ram says getting into racing is both a natural and strategic move for the brand because over 40% of NASCAR fans are truck owners. In June, Ram announced a move to join the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series next season, and now it has its first racing partner. Kaulig Racing, which already competes in the Cup and Xfinity Series, is now going to the Truck Series for the first time and will field up to 5 Ram trucks. Their first race will be in February of next year at Daytona. And don't be surprised to see Stellantis move into the NASCAR Cup and or Xfinity Series as well, most likely with Dodge. We think there's a good chance it sticks with Kaulig, which currently races Chevy Camaros. And rumors have it that Honda could get into NASCAR too, and possibly even drop out of IndyCar. We keep saying that 2025 is the year of the autonomous car because we believe we're at the beginning of that hockey stick inflection point. And now comes word that Waymo just got permission to start testing autonomous cars in New York City, specifically in Manhattan and Brooklyn. Only 8 AVs will be part of the test, and they'll have a human on board behind the wheel in case anything goes wrong. But Waymo is already operating in at least 5 other cities, with another 2 more on the way, and it looks like it's probably only a matter of time before New York joins that list. Audi is launching the updated version of the Q3. Like the previous generation, the model is available in 2 body styles, a traditional SUV and a Sportback, which has a roofline that's 29 millimeters lower than the SUV. The base Q3 is powered by a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder engine with mild hybrid technology, while a 2-liter diesel is also available. Both produce 110 kilowatts of power or 147 horsepower. There's also a plug-in hybrid which delivers 200 kilowatts or 268 horsepower. It features a nearly 26 kilowatt-hour battery that provides 119 kilometers or 74 miles of electric range for the Q3 SUV and 1 kilometer less for the Sportback. The SUV starts at 44,600 euros or about 52,000 bucks, while the Sportback starts at 46,450 euros or about 54 grand, and both launch first in Germany in October. And speaking of Audi, it's dropping the standard A7 sedan and sportier S7 variant from its lineup in the US and will only offer the high-performance RS7 for the 2026 model year. Audi says the new A6, which launches in the US at the end of the year or early next year, will represent the brand in the midsize sedan segment. Okay, let's go over the results of our latest poll, which was open to our YouTube and Patreon members. EV startups were counting on ZEV credits and $7,500 rebates for their business plan. But now that the Trump administration has axed all of that, we wanted to know what your outlook for the EV startups is. Close to a third of you said, don't worry, they'll survive. But more than half were pessimistic and said this is going to cripple their operations. And 16% said none of the above. Here's some of the feedback that we got. TX Craig believes the startups will be okay. The idea with a credit was to try and bring the cost of EVs down to the price of ICE. It's sad it's gone, but I don't think it's going to slow anything down much. Thomas Bowen had this to say, quote, "History is littered with the wreckage of failed auto startups, and this will add to the pile. The EV sector is facing stiff headwinds from an oversaturated market, and long-established players can't turn a profit." Stephen Relea says, "There are so many indirect ways fossil fuel companies have been subsidized. The U.S. should reconsider its support of EV startups. The automobile industry is strategically important to the long-term health of the U.S. economy." But not everyone is on board with EV subsidies. Kelly Sprawnberg says, "If your business model is sound, you don't need government handouts. The product should stand on its merits, not just the price." And Keith Mensing echoed that thought. "We never should have subsidized expensive cars for the upper/luxury car segment, and that's what most of the EVs are. If you have a good product and business, you will probably find success. It won't be because the government subsidized your business." Thanks to everyone that voted and took a moment to leave a comment. We love getting your feedback. But that wraps up today's report. Thanks for watching.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. CSP, the composites solution partner. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. And thanks to the following YouTube and Patreon members.
Knowing that a little rain won't slow down your day. That's what really matters. Bridgestone Turanza Quiet Track tires. Confident control in wet conditions.
Developing today's vehicles. Issues can happen in an instant. When's the best time to solve a problem? The minute you know you have one. Meet Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your secure, off-the-shelf solution empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.